Hey, we made it. We are live. Bigfoot Diaries live. Better late than never. That's kind of our mantra this week, this month. July. Do you guys realize it's going to be August in just a couple days? And if people who are watching the show, you're wondering who I'm talking to. I'll get to that in just a minute.
But I'll have to go back to school.
It's not true. August has been postponed.
For lack of interest.
It's true.
We got an amazing cast of characters in the studio tonight. We got the usual gang of idiots with myself.
That would be me.
Shep.
Resemble that.
Charles is lingering around here somewhere.
He is amazing.
Mr. Savekian. But we are very humbled and lucky to have Dirk William Newton in the studio with us, along with
Thank you.
a national Des Moines icon, Ned Rude. And he's been trying to hide behind that mantra all day long, but it's true, man. I told people we're having Ned Rude on the show, and I hear about every album they ever bought, every single time that happens. So how are you guys doing tonight?
I'm doing great. Wonderful. Great to be here.
I appreciate you guys being here.
Pleasure's ours.
I've been advised not to talk.
You've been advised not to talk?
My Fifth Amendment rights.
You're gonna take on your Fifth Amendment rights?
Yep.
Okay.
You have no rights. You're a musician in Des Moines.
That's right. No
You're a musician in Des Moines. What are you talking about?
I don't know.
I'm not a musician. I'm a drummer. There's a difference.
We're moving towards a third world country as it is. And I did forget to mention Jeff Banks is also here. He's our musical guest, and he's sitting in the studio with us also, sharing a mic with Shep. And a little bit later, he's going to show us some magic on his guitar. That's the rumor. So,
unlike last night where he was showing it to all of Des Moines, Drasberry rocked.
Well, let's talk about that, because I couldn't make it last night. I had my daughter, as I do every other weekend, and the show fell on that night. I really wanted to be there. Nothing against my daughter, obviously. I love having her, but how was the show? Ned, you were there. How was
I worked the door. These guys hired me to work the door. It was awesome. It was wonderful.
Did they pay you?
No, I did it for free. I did it as a pleasure to see these guys.
It is a pleasure to see them.
It really was. They did pay me. They paid me quite well, as a matter of fact. I just bought you coffee before. Anyway, they were great. Great crowd,
They funded your
receptive.
coffee.
Woolies is a wonderful venue. Speaking of which, they've got Johnny Winter coming up in the next few weeks.
That hasn't been announced yet, has it?
No.
Well, you heard it here first.
Sorry.
Oh,
Serious faux pas, folks.
So
Coming to Woolies. That's
Drasberry.
right.
Okay. Now, Jeff, have you guys had a chance to practice, or did you guys just get on stage for the first time in 20 years?
No, we actually we rehearsed for like 10 hours the day before. So we when we played together 4 years ago for a reunion. Sorry about that. We played about 4 years ago.
Was it that long ago?
House of Bricks?
Yeah.
At the House of Bricks, right?
House of Bricks. You flew
Yeah,
in.
there were no rehearsals before that, and it was like it was like getting together with your ex-girlfriend from 20 years ago, and
It was all awkward.
it was awkward. It was
Except louder.
full of energy, and then it was over.
Except much louder.
You bought a bunch of drinks and nothing happened.
And we're so this time we wanted to get all that out so we could relax and have fun, which is what happened. So,
You guys played a long time.
They were
It seemed like a long time.
about 2 hours and 45 minutes or something
Yeah.
like that.
So
Yeah.
people who might not know who Drasberry is, because I'm sure there's some people who are younger who are tuning into the show. Drasberry was, when I was 19, 20, 21 years old, Drasberry was pretty much the band in Des Moines that you wanted to go see. They were They could draw in the hippie crowd. They could draw in the rock crowd, the punk crowd, the goth crowd. Everybody was there to see it, and it somehow it all worked because you guys could mix in that peace, love, and stuff kind of thing, along with the Red Hot Chili Pepper covers,
Right.
and the stuff you wrote was just amazing. And plus, the musicianship in the band was just
the
top
degree
notch.
of musicianship. Other musicians around town, it was just like, always a pleasure to
And
go out
even-
and watch these guys, man.
Even talking to Mick Thompson from Slipknot, he told me, Jeff, that you are the greatest guitar player he's ever seen.
Ah,
So that's a
Great
pretty nice compliment. Yeah.
yeah.
and well deserved too.
Well, and along with Slipknot, I've always said Drasberry was my favorite band to come out of this town.
Mm-hmm.
That was actually the first time I ever saw a Drasberry album was at a Slipknot rehearsal.
Oh, is that right?
No, but I'm just.
Never let the
They were
truth.
working out
It's a
a.
great
They were working
story,
out a
man.
cover.
Never let
I
the
told you I
truth
was gonna
stand in the
fill
way of a good
blanks
story.
with tawdry crap that I make up. So
Well, it's funny because the Des Moines music scene has evolved quite a bit since then. But I moved away for a while, and that's what I'm glad you guys are here. You can kind of clue me on what I missed. It seems like, was there kind of a dark area where there really wasn't much happening for several years?
I was gone for 10 years.
It was because Jeff left.
Is that why?
Yeah, there was this.
Yeah,
big
you noticed when I
vacuum
left, suddenly
in
it
the
was like a
music
vacuum.
scene.
I didn't hear anything. Yeah.
Although it was kind of dark when he was here too.
It has picked. I mean, it's really, as you could tell by the blogs from David Byrne.
Mm-hmm.
It's really nice to sit there and read something from somebody who has eyes on the outside.
That was really cool, by the way.
I thought it was too, and is somebody that I respected a lot. I know some of the younger people were kind of rolling their eyes, but you know what? Go out, put out the volume and the bulk of music like he's put out, and then you can complain to me. I don't
Right.
care.
Well,
The guy is world traveled and
Who were
just
rolling their eyes at David Byrne?
incredibly talented.
The hipsters.
well, that band, St. Vincent, that is wow, man.
Amazing.
Sousaphone for bass, and
But
it's a horn band with David, and the female vocalist is just phenomenal.
but to look at where we're at now,
Gorgeous.
Well,
and
yeah,
everything
I-
else, and-
And a guitarist as
oh,
well.
she's good too. Yeah, she's on, man.
So, did you guys see the article by Kansas City Star that
That
also
covered-
hyped Des Moines? I mean, Des Moines is,
Minneapolis too. The
Really?
Minneapolis Tribune.
so Des Moines is actually it's a happening place now, and it's neat to see bands like Drasberry coming back. High and Lonesome played last week, which was
Wow.
a nice reunion show at the Woolies again. Things are starting to happen, and we're starting to get the attention that we never really had before in Des Moines, Iowa. Is it warranted? I know it's warranted. Is it welcome? I should say. Is that, or is it gonna?
Horribly welcome and long overdue. That's some of the reasons you get people leaving Des Moines and being away for 10 years is that they think that there's nothing happening. I'm not trying to read into why Jeff left, but Austin was a happening town. But the thing is people don't realize that when you leave and you come back, you bring something with you that might inspire or light a fire where there wasn't one before. Things are it's pretty cool.
Well, now,
around Des Moines
having
now.
said that, our viewers may not realize that Jeff Banks had moved to Austin and had then since moved back, which is,
Yeah.
we're fortunate to have him back, both as a musician and as a friend.
Right. Well, Jeff moved to Austin, and it was a good career move for you.
Yeah. Well, what really brought us back was my daughter Zoe, from school age, and I wanted her to go to school in Iowa. So I mean that really was the reason. I mean, but it that wasn't the only reason. I mean I missed people here. I missed people here. I missed the music because Austin is just chock full of musicians and a lot of green musicians, and they are willing to not only play for free but pay money to play,
Pay to play.
and which drives everything down, and the truth is, like, down on 6th, most of there are great musicians there, but most of the great musicians in Austin don't play in Austin.
Yeah.
Right.
But being from Austin will earn you more money.
Well, you can earn.
Yeah.
So the irony is
See-
that, like, I could, if I was from Dallas, I played Dallas, and no matter how good, I'd make, whatever amount of money. If I'm from Austin, come play Dallas, I'll make more money, even if it's not a good band.
Because you're from Austin.
But then you for a band from Austin, you play Austin. I mean, you make so little, it's ridiculous.
But
My
then-
son
but
lives
full
in-
of great musicians. They just, they're
My son lives in Austin. He's been down there for about 6 years. And I said, "What's the key?" And I said, "At this juncture of the game, I'm making an album of the first time in my life. I'm finishing stuff up." And he said, "Just move to Austin for long enough to get a change of address and say you're from Austin, and you'll probably do well." I mean, seriously.
yeah, oh yeah,
It's
absolutely.
just, you can hang your hat on that and stuff like that.
But then the point being, the difference in Des Moines since you've come back in 10 years. I mean, who would have ever thought we had this many venues?
yeah.
Heck, I mean, People's just closed. I mean, you've got there and Vaudeville and Woolies and Valair, the Seven Flags.
Zim,
Right.
Star Bar, all the places that have
Gas
bands on the
Lamp.
gas lamp.
Believe it or not, the Greenwood. One
Right.
Of my favorites.
Yeah. 7 nights a
Greenwood
week.
is-
I love playing the Greenwood.
I would
7
say
nights a week.
The Greenwood's the spot for me, man.
And there's
me
also that
too.
place
I'm
next
with you,
door that
brother.
you've played. The
Lot 33, man.
Yeah.
We do Thursday nights there with Krista, and this coming Saturday night's Jeff Banks band at the original Jeff Banks band at Greenwood.
Is that the Austin band? That's not the Austin band.
No,
Okay.
the one with it's Scott Dawson, John Locker, James Bean, and myself.
Nice. Got some heavy hitters.
And that the Greenwoods is I mean it's like the vibe of the old Grand.
It's the swinging joint, man.
Kind of moved over to the Greenwood. And it didn't disappear. It just
the level
moved
of
a little bit.
appreciation. It's like you're sitting and you've been invited to somebody's house to sit there and play music for them for no other reason than just to play music. It makes you remember why you do it.
And I have to say this: Bill Landis, my favorite bartender
Yeah,
in
it's
amazing.
What a
town.
great guy.
Yeah.
And what
He pours a mean Coke. I'm telling you.
For a guy who doesn't drink.
I don't know about
Yeah, for a guy, he pours a mean Coke. I'm
He
here to
also
tell you.
offers a braille map of Des Moines when you leave the bar too, so
Yeah.
you can feel your way home.
See,
It's
I
like,
haven't needed
I'm
that.
within
so-
crawling
I haven't
distance.
needed
That's
that
good.
so
That's
much.
good.
But
Yeah.
no,
That's
the
good.
point you were saying, there's so much talent in this town that, some people say, well, man, you're playing the Greenwood for free. Yeah, but we're choosing to. At least
It's
I am.
under your own
I
terms.
mean, I don't know. I mean, there are some nights that aren't as good as others, but I generally make more playing at the Greenwood.
I do too. Yep.
Based off the tips.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
the thing is, but I got used to that in Austin. Everybody begs for tips. I mean, every band begs for tips.
By the way, I don't know if
So-
last time you were there, have you seen the tip jar? It's a big plastic tip jar.
The
that's-
green bowl.
I made that.
You did?
And left it there.
Oh.
The backside used to say, please feed our drummer.
Right.
And I tore that off because I thought that wasn't as, But yeah, I made that because I thought usually they have it looks like a salad bowl or something that says tips written in pencil.
When
And I thought we
Jamie
need something better
when
than
Jamie
that.
Grimm plays there, it's like always fill the bowl with green.
Right.
Yep.
Johnny Reefer seed.
Yep.
Party's
Yeah.
on.
By the way, he should be calling in a minute with a Michael Bolton request for you, Ned, just for old times'
Oh, great.
sake.
My sisters used to say I look like Michael Bolton. Is that what you're giving me
Well,
crap about? It's going to get
They
ugly
used
here
to
shortly.
say, yes, they did. I don't know. Is Michael Bolton still around?
Is he still
Yeah.
alive? The guy
His
on
hair looks good. In
the guy
back,
on Office Space
too.
or the real Michael Bolton?
He parked
No,
my,
the no talent ass clown.
he parked my car last time. I don't know.
Hey, now having said that, I saw him when his first album came out on CBS at the top of the tower, the Holiday Inn. And at the risk of sounding cliche, he rocked. And he did. He
Yeah.
had a great band and he rocked. He hadn't gotten into the soul thing.
That's always a surprise.
And so, the City View tomorrow's going to say, Edward Rood says Michael Bolton rocks. Details later. Sisters say it looks like Michael Bolton.
Do you wake up at night in a cold sweat regretting
That's
that
kind of
coming out of your
personal.
mouth at all?
Man, we're on the air. I
find
don't
that-
want to
That's a
admit to
nightmare
this.
all its own. But
It could. I was going to say it could be worse, but I don't want to go there.
well, at least I didn't hit him when he was crossing Southeast 14th. So.
Michael
He
Bolton?
was. How tall was he? Maybe it was I had something
aren't
against
most
tall
of those
people.
guys short?
Was he short?
When
I
you say
can't
those
remember.
guys, what do you mean?
The
Rock stars?
Yeah, well, not just the rock stars, but the
Dio was.
really Gene Simmons, a little short little guy. What Prince is 5'2"?
Yeah.
Yeah, when I met Robert
I mean, you-
Plant, I looked up at
Well,
him.
there you go. There you go.
No, I did. He's a
6'4",
big
something like
guy.
that. Yeah, he's
I got a hernia breaking 5'8".
Dropping names. I met Robert Plant backstage at Fats.
Yeah. So who in this room has had the opportunity to drive their car into Joey Ramone? That was Ned.
I did.
Or Dirk.
Yeah.
you drove your car.
That was the
into
top of the
him?
tower. Yeah. What year? 83?
Yeah, I'm not sure.
My
Please
wife
tell.
was like,
This one.
my wife was hideously pregnant. And it was, I think it was during the summer. I can't remember. But
It was.
We were driving down 14th, and there was another Holiday Inn on 14th and Euclid. And I'll never forget the name of who would call a restaurant Chez Piggy.
Chez
But we're
Piggy.
driving, and Joey Ramone must have been crossing the street to go to Village Inn. And I'm like, you don't see anybody that tall, I mean, anywhere very often. And I was like taken aback, and I just about swerved into him. And he's like, he's from New York. I mean, he flipped me off and
Right.
carried on about his business and stuff. But
I had worked
it's my
tall
claim to
was he?
fame.
How tall was he?
He had to have been 6'4", 6'4" to 6'6". He was exceedingly
He
tall.
was almost Jethro tall.
Yeah, he was just, and thin, and he had a young lady with him in tow, and she was absolutely gorgeous. And he was wearing, I never forget this, he was wearing a canary Izod sweater.
Wow.
And I thought it was like, I put two and two together after we drove through the lights and everything, and I'm like, oh, that was Joey Ramone. And I was like, Izod sweater, canary at that, you know.
I worked at Music Circuit at the time, and they did an in-store appearance. I was so busy, though, I didn't, I was like selling records and stuff. But one of my favorite rock and roll memories, and it was at that show, and they were, as you recall, they were just louder than sin. The Ramones were just super loud, which was great. There was some guy passed out in the fetal position in their bass bin of their speaker for the whole show.
I knew that guy.
Well, he's deaf. He's one deaf mother now. I'm here to tell you.
That he was in my class in Newton. That was Randy Mikesell. Hey, Randy.
We would say hey to Randy, but he can't hear us right now.
We should reiterate. Hey, Randy.
Yeah.
That
One,
was
two,
huge
three.
news.
Hey,
that was a big
Randy!
deal around school. They took him out like in a stretcher or something like that.
I don't remember that part.
He ended up saying,
I just was like, man, I hope you're enjoying the show.
I got to ask you. I didn't go to the show. Did they revolve the room on that
It may
show?
have seemed like
I
it, but
played
no.
shows up there, and they would revolve the room, and you'd be nauseated and seasick by the time that. I mean, you'd be looking and like, hey, I left the lights on in my house, and then,
they had a convention there. I'm trying to think. It was some really staunch Republican. I can't remember.
KKK.
No, but
Or
let's just say it was. No, it wasn't Shriners.
That was
but
a joke.
Anyway, the place was sold out with all of these, right-wing Republican conventionaires, and then you got the Ramones people going up in the elevator. It was. You had to be there. It was
It's right out of a Hunter S. Thompson novel.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Maybe it was one of our senators that was passed out, not basemen.
Yeah, it might have
Future
been back then.
future senators.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, good times. Good times.
Hey,
good days.
If the bass player from Nirvana can be a governor, I guess.
What was he? Was a place that was over there? There's like 3 levels, 3 floors. It was over on the east side. What is now the East Village? Montana's. Does that sound right?
Montana's.
Where all the senators, all the legislators used to go over there and eat and drink.
And Janie
hammered.
Hooper did a lot of gigs over
I
there.
did some gigs there.
And Jonathan Rowett. I mean,
you watch the seat of government get hammered.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's always fun. So you got some good stories.
Scandalous.
I got too many.
Scandal.
Right at the
I
end
got
of it.
some stories
Well,
too, actually.
I had my guitar shop in the East Village, and when we went down there, ZZZ, it was like the DMZ. I mean, there was nothing down there. You were chasing pigeons and junkies
But in the East Village,
out of your buildings and stuff, and just a quip on how fast it changed and how fast money changed it. When I went into the building that I had my guitar shop in, the building and the building next door where Christine, bless her heart, God bless you wherever you are, but she was like seminal in like mid-century furniture, just brilliant woman. She was living in the building next door to where I had my guitar shop. My guitar shop, the building was for sale for $250,000, and by the time I had paid my final rent payment and it had exploded, and I couldn't afford to be down there anymore. The building sold for $740,000.
I'll be darned.
So, but that being said, somebody went down there and threw some money around, and things did happen.
Well, and
things
there
that
wasn't-
Woolies happened,
Well, and there's also, like what I noticed is
Zombie
Court
burger.
Avenue before the flood of '93, Court Avenue that area was really hopping.
Yeah, Julio's.
308
There was
Court,
Julio's, there was Spanky's, there was Up and Under.
Sheffield's.
up and under.
Well, yeah, it became Sheffield's. It was
Sheffield's.
Spanky's before that.
Sheffield's.
Oh, yeah.
But
Yep.
yeah, I remember, 89 or 90, a beautiful summer night, Drasboro, we were playing it
Nacho
Up and
Mamas.
Under. We were playing, and I remember going out and hearing all this music, and people just going
Yep.
everywhere and thinking,
Yep.
wow, man, this is. And then the flood of '93 seemed to like stop all of that. And then my understanding was like what the Court Avenue Association or whatever kind of like blocked certain amount of growth, and they wanted some like that big movie theater to come, movieplex
They
theater.
wanted the big
with
movie theater coming in, and they also put in stipulations to the decibel level of stuff happening around the
Right.
area because the condominiums were coming in.
Right, and then
Pushed all the growth to the East Village.
And then I moved, right? I moved in like 2002. And when I left, Court Avenue was still looking pretty dismal, almost 10 years after the flood. And East Village really hadn't quite got rolling yet. And then I come back and suddenly, what I think is kind of going, I don't know if there's, an East Village association or anything like that, but
There is.
Well, Archie-
but I mean, it seemed like maybe the lesson to the story is, you just don't engineer that stuff. Stop trying to be gatekeepers for all, but let it grow organically.
The guy Mongo that owned the Blazing Saddle was the first person I met. The first person that walked down the street, walked into my shop, shook my hand, and welcomed me out and said, we need more stuff down
Welcome to
here.
the neighborhood,
Want you
yeah.
to do. I mean, it was just it was magical. It was like, I don't want to wax fantastic about the 70s or anything like that, but it was just a gentle.
Wax fantastic.
It was a
My new band.
Yeah, exactly.
Hello, can Tito fetch me a towel? I'm going to weep. Michael. Anyway, it was cool because he was
did.
part of the.
I don't have no towels for you, man. I'm sorry. And quit making fun of my middle name. Damn.
Tito.
God.
But no, first guy that welcomed me down there
gonna
and
go
stuff
sit
like
next
that.
to Jeff.
The guy from ZZZ that I can't recall.
Nate?
But yeah, Nate. Nate was one of the first people when he went in there. That was the old Ben Smalls building. I
On a
think.
barely related note,
Lest we
Please change
digress.
directions really quick.
Lest we digress,
It could get more
Jeff.
interesting.
no, I just wanted to give a little cheap little pump like for the the Drasberry CD, the new Drasberry CD.
Well, absolutely.
Hey, Jeff, what about
Remixing
new
st-
music from Drasberry? What's up with that?
Remixing stuff that you from a previously
Well, no, we actually
unfinished?
finished the songs. We
Excellent.
When we broke up, in early '94, we were working on our next CD, and we
Who
had,
got the kids? Oh.
and we had nobody really knows where a lot of that stuff
Tito.
went. It's strange things.
Michael.
It's like who do you know? Where did the case? Yeah, you had the bus, and where'd that go? But yeah, it was like that.
Yeah, where's
But,
the bus at?
yeah.
I forgot about the bus.
Where's that
Yeah,
confounded
no,
bus?
I don't know if anybody knows.
But the CD.
The CD. So we because this is all on 2-inch analog. We only had so much. There was like $250 per tape for 16 minutes of recording time. So we actually recorded over some of the stuff because we had like 9 songs altogether that were for the next record. What ended up on the tape was 5 songs, and then and none of them were finished. There were no vocal parts, and they were just basic tracks. And so about 3 weeks ago, we started finishing up, and literally finished the CD less than a week ago.
So are the songs
Where?
new?
Where did you?
We've at my house we did
Finishing.
guitar tracks, a couple of lead tracks, and also all the vocal tracks at my house. And then
How many tracks are there?
well, I do
Songs.
digital at home. Oh,
Songs.
6.
Sorry.
6 because Goodbye Summer, because we'd originally done that for Drastic, and then we ended up not keeping it. We had a piano and an acoustic guitar, and it was the old way. It had these chord changes that Shannon sang, where we decided we didn't want it. So we went in for the next session. We re-recorded it, just really spare and 3-piece. As Ben was late, we decided to go ahead and lay it down, and he did tracks when he came in, later. But and that's so funny. We went back and listened to that, and all of us were like, "Why didn't we keep this one?"
Yeah.
It's just sure when you're young, you're like, and then you go back and listen to it. It's like, wow, this is really actually a better performance than the one we put on Drastic.
It's kind of like the poetry I wrote in high school, only opposite.
Yeah.
I look at it, I go, wow.
Yeah.
Was
Well, nobody's ever gonna see
This one's going in the fire pit.
was it kind of amazing in a way to go back and listen to the 2-inch analog stuff?
Oh, absolutely.
The difference between the digital stuff and the analog stuff, and how things have changed sonically, musically.
Yeah.
But you go back and revisit stuff from 10 or 15 or 20 years ago, and I had some 2-inch analog tape left from SR when they were in Indianola.
Right.
And you go back and we were trying to go, picking songs for stuff. And you listen and you go, other than me being 10 years younger and sucking, it sounded, the sonic quality of the stuff was good. But you guys could overcome that. The thing is that you guys were so good and great. It was a pleasure.
You really were.
It was a schooling. It was a spanking to go out and watch you guys. I mean, seriously.
It was.
And I don't think you guys realized, not like I'm going to open your door or anything for you when we leave, but I will carry your amp.
Oh, thank
but
you.
you guys had a profound effect. You raised the notch of musicianship and stuff, and I really respected that a lot. I mean, I'd go watch you play, or you'd come in walking into the Cloud, and I'd be like,
Cloud, there's one.
Well, the slop has got to stop now,
Yeah.
But I appreciated that, Not that I've gotten any better, but
the slop should never stop.
Let the slop fall.
Yeah.
Well, hey, we're going to take a little break. We're going to come back from that break, and we're going to talk about some other things Des Moines music-wise. I heard that the Blind Munchies will be catering some food in for us. Hold on, I got a phone call here. Should I take it on air?
You better.
Hey, Rich. Hey, Rich, you're on speakerphone, bud. How you doing?
I'm good. Who's all listening?
The entire world is at the moment.
That's what I was hoping for. Now listen. No, what are you up to, man?
Just sitting here with some friends, hanging out. What are you doing, man?
Finally getting my day wrapped up, dude, and I just, I know you got to work early. I do too, but
Well, I'm just sitting here with some friends.
This is some heavy stuff.
Probably just hanging out for a little while. But
you should come down.
I'd be happy to hang out with you a little bit later, maybe.
okay. Well, you have anything in mind, or?
Well,
Riveting.
nothing really comes to mind at the moment. Tell you what, though,
Want to carry
I
some
will give you a
guitars,
call
Bob?
when I get a free minute here.
Okay, are you about to do your Bigfoot broadcast, or?
You're on it right now, live.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Gig.
I thought you were going to call me and tell me something really scandalous. I'm like, oh my God, now the world knows. But
Want to
okay.
hear some Michael Bolton?
Well, I do have something I can tell you.
Well, is it scandalous?
It's close.
Okay, go ahead.
No, well, I had a call from a lady who was interested in my band Izzy, and she used to be the manager for Led Zeppelin when she was 17.
Ned, can you confirm or deny this?
How old is she?
Well, she's an older lady now, of course, but she was trying to see if she could manage us and get us on some festivals.
Yeah, a lady that managed Led Zeppelin. Sign her and then tell her to quit doing drugs.
Yeah, I told her to get off the drugs, and that was total.
Just say no.
And, no, but she seriously called, and that was kind of cool. But I got a couple other managers.
Is her name Peter Grant?
Yeah, she's
Used to be.
Ask her name if her name's Peter Grant. If it's not, she never managed Zeppelin.
Yeah, it was Grant, it turns out. And I was like, no, I ain't talking to anybody but him. No.
Well, he's kind of dead. He doesn't do so much chatting as much.
it's kind of dead.
Pieta Grant.
He ate a grant.
Pieta Grant.
He that rock and roll lifestyle caught up with him, but I'm sure she's a great manager. I would get everything in writing.
Yeah, but I told her it just didn't fit the Des Moines lifestyle. So
Did she ask you to do Michael Bolton covers by any chance?
Well, hey, Rich, I'm going to be that guy that lets you go for a minute, and I'll give you a call back in a little while, and we'll talk about it later. As you know, I do got to work early in the morning, so I can't promise anything, but I'll definitely get back to you.
all right, yeah, right on, man. Have a blast. I do look forward to talking to you later.
All right, I definitely will give you a call, my friend.
Okay, see ya.
Okay, bye-bye. You too can call if you want to. My phone number is 1-800. What is it? 1-855-244-0077. In fact, if you want to call, that'd be great because these guys have things to talk about. If you have any questions about the Des Moines scene from 1900 to now?
Yeah.
I have a question for Jeff. You guys are finishing up the album, and what's the release? And
It's done. It was released last night.
They had it on for sale last night.
Excellent.
Oh, you had it for sale last night? Okay.
Yeah.
And, you'll be able to get it. It's a limited edition, so we're not printing anymore, but you still get it through bonecrushingrecords.com.
Can you buy it anywhere locally?
No, I don't know. I don't think so. I'll figure that one out.
Okay, well, we're going to take a short break. We're going to come back, answer some more phone calls, and talk some more music. So,
Excellent.
Excellent day. That's how we roll.
Concept Studios. This is Webcast One Live.
Drug and alcohol addiction slowly steals a person's identity, tearing away pieces of their life little by little until one day it seems like the hope of a happy future is gone and there's no chance of getting it back. Here at St. Gregory Retreat Centers, we can assure you that there is hope. Our unique approach to recovery begins with the understanding that the dysfunction and damage caused by addiction can be overcome, not just dealt with. Don't let another day go by. Call St. Gregory today.
Well, good morning. This is the 7th of June in the Lord's year 2010, and this is day 1 of webcast1live.com. We will begin with Max World Live with my special guest, Tom Coates. In just a minute, there's Tom. Wait. Howdy. And we will be live for the very first time on Webcast One Live. Someday we're going to look back on this and say, gosh, remember that old day in history? Wonder where Walter Cronkite was. He must have been around hanging there too. But actually, it's the beginning of Webcast One Live. And thank you for listening. Thanks, Rob Spearman, and everybody who's put together this project together. And we're ready to go live now. So thanks for listening to MaxWorldLive.com.
I can't tell you that it's going real well from time to time, but it is going.
If Tom Coates from Consumer Credit of America was your personal webmaster, Tom would filter out all bad debt emails. If Tom was your mailman, you'd never get any debt reduction junk mail. If Tom Coates was a lineman, he'd block any phone calls offering to reduce your credit card debt.
Hi, I'm Tom Coates with Consumer Credit of America, and we're still your best choice for credit counseling. We're local, we're accountable, and we can do more. You make the call when the time's right for you.
When it comes to competition, there really is none for Consumer Credit of America.
The dawn of a new era begins. From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast One Live.
Bigfoot Diaries live. I'm sitting here next to my friend Shep, who apparently didn't wear deodorant, and Jeff kicked him over here. So
Nobody wants to sit by me. Troy's a cold. It doesn't matter.
I got to
So
step
we're
our
good
nose.
here.
Yeah, just like old days. We're gonna tell some stories, guys, about the Des Moines scene. Actually, on the break, I heard a pretty good story about the Stratocaster that you had, Dirk.
Oh, Peckerhead.
Peckerhead, right?
Yep.
And what did you guys call it that?
It was red on the head. And it's a guitar I owned on and off for like 5. Finally, I sold it to a kid. It went through the windshield of his Jeep, and the kid got hurt pretty badly. But the kid made sure that I said, whenever I sold the guitar, hey, if you want to sell it, I'll take it back anytime, man. And I got the guitar. I got the guitar back because I think everybody was coming to the conclusion that it was either cursed or something like that. But 2 times Jeff borrowed it a couple of years ago. Everybody that comes to town is like, hey, I didn't bring a guitar with me, and we got a show. Can I borrow a Peckerhead and stuff? So
What is it?
It's like a reissue Strat that I've had since like the late 80s.
And no year? Oh, late 80s.
The weird thing is it's a hardtail, no tremolo.
Yeah.
And it just rings like a bell. And it's kind of a fighty guitar, but it's fun to play, like wrestling with an alligator.
Is your Strat
He
a
could play
hardtail?
anything though.
No.
But he goes, what, Soul Providers?
Yeah.
For the Blues Challenge,
Yeah.
he used it. And
Yeah.
So when you came back for the Drasbury show a few years ago, you flew in from Austin,
Yeah.
and that's why you borrowed the guitar, because you didn't.
I borrowed an amp and a guitar and
you
everything.
want to
Yeah.
fly with all your equipment.
Yeah.
How do pole vaulters carry their equipment? Anybody ever catch that?
I don't know any pole vaulters.
Yeah.
Do you know any
in
pole
fact, I don't
vaulters?
think I've ever.
Are there any
met a
in Des
pole
Moines?
vaulter.
Have you ever been to the Drake Relays?
guys are
They
old.
walk up. They have these tubes that are about 80 meters long, and they just sit down. And I'm sitting there watching. I'm thinking, how do they travel with those things? And where do they put them on the plane?
I think they
That's some
break
heavy
down
stuff.
like the canes and stuff like that.
That's some
But
heavy
you
stuff.
guys are alluding to something like, I don't know
PBS
anything.
train?
My idea of high impact aerobics is manually changing the channels on my TV. So, and a one.
And you try to do that as.
I don't know anything about sports.
So you guys up for some word association at all?
Yeah.
Sure.
All right, we're going to talk about some 70s rock and roll albums. And if you guys don't mind, we can just kind of go in a loop. I'll say one, then Dirk, you can answer, then you can say it to him, and we'll just kind of go all the way around here and see. Basically, I'll mention an album from the 70s, and you mention one word that comes to your mind. Does that work?
Sounds great.
One word,
Well,
Yeah.
if you want to go off.
not a 2-minute digression
Well,
of
we can do that.
who I
That
was
exceeds my
dating when I
vocabulary.
listened to that
Well, you
record
might
for
know
the
a great
first
story
time.
about
or-
something. Like we had some pretty good conversations
Yeah, we
earlier.
don't digress much around here.
No,
Yeah.
we don't. Not at all. Actually,
Okay.
there's a rule. We don't do that.
Go.
Okay, so I will start out. I don't know the name of it, but Argent's first album.
Argent's first album. Argent? Rod Argent?
Yes.
Hold Your Head Up, Woman. The guitar player had this really wacky Stratocaster that he
Holes in it.
drilled holes through. And I thought that the
Russ
Well,
Ballard.
oh, yep.
Good one.
I'm
Ding,
beyond,
ding, ding,
I'm
ding,
beyond
ding.
my one word. Okay, that means I can't talk for the rest
No,
of
you're good.
it. I'm in word receivership
You're in a word penalty box.
and karma receivership.
You guys vamped that song last night. Hold Your Head Up.
Oh, just for a moment.
Yeah, but you vamped it.
Well, that's weird. I didn't know that.
Argent's album In Deep has a picture of them all in a pool, and the drummer was afraid to tell Hypnosis, the album cover people, that he couldn't swim. So he they said he's not sinking, but he's not going up, so they pulled him out. Anyway, Argent. That's my Argent story.
Nice.
He was a drummer.
Next.
They could have let him go.
Hey.
Oh, hey, I'm a drummer too.
Well, Rod Argent was the Zombies.
Zombies.
In fact, they're
They
playing
were-
the names.
It's a
Zombies are
time
making
for
names
a
with Rod Argent and Colin Blunstone.
With the meat
They
puppets on the same
were
bill.
incredibly young when they got signed.
Mhm.
They were in their teens. And just hearing that stuff in the 60s when I was growing up, it was like somebody landed from Mars. It was like hearing Hendrix.
That was a
God
That
gave
when you-
rock and
Time of
roll
the
to you.
season,
Wasn't
yeah.
that
Time of the
their song
season.
too?
I started pulling that out last night too.
Yeah.
Did you?
Wow.
Oh, I
Was
would
that
love
Petra?
to have seen
Didn't
that.
Petra do a cover of that?
They did.
Yeah.
And I think
Kiss?
Kiss did
Yeah.
too.
But they rewrote it so they could get
Money.
thank you. Yeah. So they could get money.
Yeah.
Money.
What's the next
What's that
album?
stuff called?
Dirk, your turn. Drop an album.
Drop an album. Radio City. Big Star.
That's to you, Ned.
Gotcha.
They're on Ryko Disc, a band I always meant to go back and get into because the people who love them really love them. Did you ever play any of them in Falconetti?
Any what? The
Big Star.
I don't even remember who they were.
September Girls. They were the band that in Back of the Car, that 70s show. That's Big Star.
Oh.
Hanging out. Alex Chilton.
Alex Chilton's
The
band.
letter.
Alex Chilton. Yeah,
Alex
okay,
Chilton,
yeah.
who went on.
That song is a Big Star. It's
backdoored
Cheap Tricks who performs that song.
Yeah, Cheap Tricks. That's
so
their
that's a
cover
Big
of
Star
it.
song?
That's a Big Star song. And
wow.
I kind of,
Is that Cheap
I was
Tricks doing
playing
it?
in a band with a
On the
young
show.
kid, and he was into the Replacements. And I was like, Alex Chilton, that sounds familiar. And, you know, he was like, well, they had this band called Big Star, and here it is, you know, this younger kid I'm playing with that's 20 years younger than me is turning me on to music from my era, you know. And my daughter does that quite a bit, too. It's really
And where's your daughter
refreshing.
work?
ZZZ Records on Wednesday nights. She's down there spinning platters for your listening pleasure.
ZZZ Records. Ask for it by name, except no substitute.
is.
That's right.
A real record store. Not a Nerf record store, a real record store.
Nerf.
But that's another thing. We've got more record stores in town, too.
Yeah.
That's
And they're
which is
all
great.
within a 2-block radius.
No, and that's cool.
Except for ZZZ, which
Right,
is
which
the
is kind of-
original one down by Noah's Ark, and then you've got the Highland Park. The Highland
Extravaganza.
Park.
But we love them, too.
Yes, we
Absolutely.
do. Anybody that sells vinyl.
Absolutely.
There's something at the heart of it that's simply awful. A man who makes a living off a plastic waffle.
Actually,
Todd Rundgren.
so Becky and I spent a good hour and a half inside the Red Rooster just last week, and
Did you get anything?
picked up some MC5 and some Screaming Jay Hawkins.
Wow.
That's cool.
That's
I put
not
a
bad
spell on
find.
you.
Yeah.
That's not a bad find at all.
So, yeah, it was. I picked it up, put it down, picked it back up, put it down, and picked it up and figured I better get it
Very
because
cool.
it won't be there next time I come in.
It's like
Right.
ZZZ. They had the Greg Allman Cher record. The album's called Allman and Woman. And I saw it for $3 and I thought, oh man, there's no way. And then I left and I thought, my God, I have to own that, you know? And so I went back a week later and it was still there and I bought it. I'll never play it.
Of course, it was there. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I don't think I was
never
going to be
play it,
down
but
there
it's
for it.
worth just like anytime I'm playing the Allman Brothers and I'll pull out that album and say, have you ever seen that? Someone will go, wow. They'll look at it, then I'll put it away. Well, that was worth $3.
Right.
He thinks Greg's
was worth
still
the
getting
while.
laser treatments trying to get Cher's name off of his arm. Oh, that tattoo.
He's no angel, that's for sure.
Nice. Nicely played.
So Ned, I think it's your turn to drop an album to Jeff Banks.
Oh man.
Dark Side of the Moon. What does that mean to you, my friend?
Oh.
Pink Floyd's Dark Side of the Moon, not to be confused with.
Oh well. What can I say? Being high.
Falling asleep with the radio under you.
Can you expound on that?
We're talking way back in the day, right? We're like, drop acid, put on headphones to turn out all the lights, and then freak out and go run and turn the lights on again.
That album introduced me to headphones. That was my first headphone album, I think.
Yeah.
And it
Great
just freaked
headphone.
me out. I remember just sitting in the basement thinking, God, I can't believe my folks can't hear this.
Yeah.
Because it's so loud in my headphones.
And I think it's one of those albums that, I mean, of course, musically it's great. The cover is great. But so much of it is invested in the memories, as you had just stated.
Yeah.
You can't separate the two.
Mm-hmm.
You can't separate. And, that's where a lot of the time and element and context is so much. It's just like I was discussing this with a friend of mine who's a big Dylan freak. People, I was going to say kids, but that sounds so condescending. Kids today can listen to Dylan now for the first time, and that's all fine and well, and they may dig it as much as whatever, but if you don't get it in the context of listening to it in the early 60s, which was probably your era, right? More so than mine. Anyway.
Right around the time of electricity.
But, it's so different. Just like Dark Side of the Moon, now kids can listen to it and, they get an iPad and say Pink Floyd. So they get all the Pink Floyd stuff and they sit through the tunes. And this is the condescending part. They sit through the songs, and if they don't like, I kind of like Dark Side of the Moon and like Wish You Were Here so much, and you and I are going, Wish You Were Here, you don't like. What is your problem? And then, but anyway, we can't. The point being, lest I digress, you can't separate the memories that we grew up with, and lest they have rights to their own memories,
and that's probably why I don't really. I mean, I love Pink Floyd, and I don't really ever listen to it anymore because if I want to listen to it, I'll just go. Oh yeah, I remember. I mean, I beat it all into the ground. I think that's the thing is that a lot of that stuff it is completely tied to memory.
Well, you buy a CD or a cassette tape or an MP3, you're not going to get the cool poster, the sticker, the stuff that was the inserts that came in the albums.
Not even counting album art.
Right. Oh, absolutely. I remember a Rare Earth album my brother had. I would just sit there and stare at it, and just it blew me away. I mean, when Queen came out with News of the World, I remember staring at that robot. That robot, and just being a little kid thinking, my God, that is the coolest thing ever.
Yeah. Playing a record was like a ritual almost.
Yeah.
It was sweat equity. It was work, especially if you had an album that was so incredible. We were talking about how good some of the albums were. How many things do you have to dig through? 20 songs to get to two incredible jewels now. Back then it was like, to a certain degree. I'm not, okay.
You're old.
But the thing is that where do you...
Speaking of platters,
when you had to... it wasn't any good spot to pick up the needle. You remember that?
I do.
For sure.
You sit there and you go, everything on here is so well thought out and well crafted.
It's so auto-tuned. Much of it is so auto-tuned. But I also think though on the other side of what you were saying about hearing it out of context in a way that they're able to kind of like in a way hear the stuff in a more honest way. Just like my son. When I first turned my son on to albums, I think he was 12, and I got my turntable back out and all my records out, and first thing he does, he starts going through and he's like holding them up like this, and he's looking at the artwork, and then he's like smelling them. Right. Because they smell like books, kind of. I mean, there's something.
Yeah, that's what his records smell like.
That's cool that he did that.
Yeah. You don't get that with CD. I have no attachment to CDs.
They're disposable.
Yeah.
I mean, they really are.
I have no attachment to them, to
they
the
were designed
artifact
to last
itself.
Give me one for 3 weeks.
But now, you were mentioning turning your son onto some records. For some reason, I've been getting into this discussion with people recently. Again, with context, the three of us have listened to music for so long and so much of it since we were young. And it's hard to listen with fresh ears. We're getting so old and jaded. For instance, Stevie Ray Vaughan.
You do rediscover it.
Stevie Ray Vaughan. Loved the guy. Still have nothing but respect.
Right.
If they put out an album back in the day, if I would have had like a live tape from Screamer, if you will. Hi, Screamer. Thanks for the CDs. If I would have gotten a live tape of unreleased stuff, I would have worshipped it. Now, if they put out an unreleased CD, I might want to get it to collect, but I wouldn't because I've been there and done that.
Yeah, of
and
course.
it's still just as good as it ever was. But so, how do you go, oh, God, I've been there and done that. I don't want to, it's hard to go into stuff with fresh ears. I listened to an album by Kenny Wayne Shepherd the other night, a live album. Probably a great record. But every song I thought, well, God, yeah, I've heard that. That's kind of a Stevie Ray.
Yep.
But, I'm sure it's a great album.
Yeah.
But I'm just like, who am I to say, well, been there and done that? And,
When you
you're Ned Rude.
Well,
Stephen, Stephen and my daughter know each other real well and stuff, and they've probably gone through the discovery of the music and stuff. The thing is that listening to it with fresh ears, they're tapping into what you were doing at that time. And you get into some weird things like Bailey loves Woody Guthrie. And I couldn't figure out where that... I mean, it's incredible stuff. Incredible stuff.
It is.
It's just a great story. And,
it's available to them too.
Absolutely, that is probably her favorite artist. And it was through... If you don't leave the door open for your kids to walk through it, it's about... And then they bring those memories back to you. It's just this... that.
Well, you know, it's funny.
That stuff going through.
Along those lines, music has pretty much extinguished itself, you know, and now we're back to that folk thing. You know, the kids are liking the folk, you know, the kids, not to be condescending. The kids are liking the folk thing, you know, and it's growing, and it's only going to grow out from, you know, we're going to repeat the 70s. We're going to repeat the 80s. And it's, you know, I really think that's going to happen.
I think Warren's going to make a comeback.
Warren is playing at Crazy Cafe.
They are. Yeah.
Well, Janie Lane's dead, the singer.
Well,
but no, speaking of your kids, do you think, I mean, you guys, again, being outstanding music fans, I mean, I don't think most parents' kids are, you know, they're hitting them up for Xboxes and games and stuff. They're not going through their record collection.
I you know, like, you know, what my son really turned me on to doing was, you know, I'd come home from, you know, he moved down to Austin for a couple of years, and at first he was staying with us, and I'd come home like at 4 in the morning, 3:30 in the morning after a gig, and I'd hear him giggling in his room, you know, and by himself, and I'd be like, hey, what's going on? You know, I mean, there you go, Dad, check this out, you know, and so we'd like get lost on this whole YouTube thing for like, you know, 3 hours and discover all this music as well. Not just, you know, that's one of the most amazing things to me is like, you know, I'm actually pretty hopeful.
It's cool
the
when
generations
turn you on to music. It really is.
And my son does that all the time. You know,
did he enjoy himself last night? He was at the Dresden.
He sure seemed to, man. He sure seemed to. You know,
I worked the door and let him in. And
did you make him pay?
Heck no, he was on the list. He had backstage passes, man.
Oh, okay.
His old
man. Get a cup of coffee. What am I saying?
His old man's the guitarist. You know, most people were such and such +1. His son was such and such +8. You know, with all access passes. You know, they don't even have an all access at Willie's, but his son had passes.
And Shannon was sitting back there deducting off of Jeff's pay.
Right. The family.
Sorry, Shannon.
All right, Jeff. It's your turn to drop an album name to Shep here. So.
Mahavishnu Orchestra, Between Nothingness and Eternity.
Nice.
John McLaughlin guitar, right? That's about all I know about him. I've heard some of their stuff, but gosh, I don't know what to say on that. My one word would be John McLaughlin. I don't know. My turn now?
That was quick. Yeah. No further discussion.
We're running out of time, right?
Billy Cobham, Jan Hammer.
Mm-hmm. Jan Hammer.
Yeah, Rick Laird.
That's right, Rick Laird on the was he bass or
yeah?
And there was a violinist. What was a violinist?
Jerry Goodman.
That's it, Jerry Goodman. Wow. Yeah, that's a
Goodman was.
That's live 1971.
Yeah,
1971 live at Central Park.
Yeah.
And it's an inspired performance. John McLaughlin plays an old Shure Vocal Master
PA
for a guitar amp, and it sounds great. It's all tube, you know?
Yeah.
On that tour where they played Central Park, Mahavishnu, they were on the same label as Aerosmith, and Aerosmith actually opened for Mahavishnu.
That's great.
And they said John McLaughlin would come out and ask the audience for, you know, and all dressed in white, in that sense, for a moment of peace and a moment of silence. And Joe Perry of Aerosmith said, I suppose after our set, they deserved it.
Nice. No, it's really weird. For as much as I was into pop, I grew up on quirky stuff. I'm supposed to be a connoisseur of all this great music. I'm really not. I am a product of AM radio. I listen to it. I write like that now, still to this day. But when you mention that album, I'll never forget shows like John Kirshner's rock concert, Midnight Special, and Don Kirshner's
and
rock
in concert.
And
you remember just in concert
and seeing somebody as incendiary as you know, Mahavishnu Orchestra, and you're sitting there and you're going, okay, I just got through listening to, you know, Daydream Believer, and I'm watching this guy just absolutely play like he's playing for his life. I mean, from the inside out. People, you watch people. You're one of those people, man. I watch you play, and it's like, it's from the inside out. It's like from the bottom of your feet up to the top of your head, and you know,
it was last night.
I do it.
It really was.
I do it because I usually wait until I have to go to the bathroom really bad, and it makes the sets go by really fast. I'm also a closet tweaker too. So.
Speaking of, you know, like the third song into the set.
That mean?
Hillbillies on Crank. I can do a set in like 30 seconds.
Speaking of the third song into the set, I had to pee, and Ben's taking a solo, and I was hoping he'd notice that I wasn't there because I had to go. It was funny because I was joking. I was making fun of him. I was calling him peanut bladder because he was saying, "Okay, we have to organize, like the 5th, 6th song, and like make that ghost dance, Jeff, and you stretch out your leg because I'm probably gonna have to pee." And I was laughing about it, making fun of him. And 3 songs in, I'm like, I can't make it. And I just flipped. Okay, that's it. I put my guitar down. I took off, and he didn't notice. So he ended the song. Oh. And like I'm not even up on stage. Hey, everybody, how's it going? Yeah, it's nice to see you.
Bowing in the bathroom.
Okay.
All right. Captain Beyond. First album, self-titled.
The only thing I know about this album is that I got a copy of it from you on burnt disc, and wow, didn't it have a really cool album cover too? That was kind of
they all were cool.
It was the guy that had his hands
Sufficiently
out
Breathless. Wasn't that one of the
that
two?
Was the second one.
That was the second record.
There was a song I played in a band, and we covered a song off there, and it was like, "See the bright shipping in the harbor," and I'm like, I didn't know what I was listening to, but it was cool. That's so weird that you brought that up.
Well, that's Shep.
Oh wow,
eclectic Shep.
Lee Dorman, I think, Iron Butterfly was in the band.
Capricorn Records. The drummer from Johnny Winter, Bobby something.
The original singer for Deep Purple, I believe.
Rod
Evans.
Rod Evans.
I actually met Lee Dorman at the Holiday Inn in Newton.
You did
when
not.
Iron Butterfly played Oscars.
Wow.
And remember Oscars in Newton, Jeff?
I remember the name, but I don't remember. Was it downtown? Was it by the square?
It was out by where the Speedway is now. It was kind of out.
Oh, wow.
It was kind of out there on its own. And
I don't
it didn't last
remember.
very long, but Iron Butterfly played there. And being in high school, Chuck Larson, who was like a Republican, he was in the House of Representatives,
right.
Republican. We went to high school together, and he and I went out to the Holiday Inn, hoping that we could run into the band. Just assuming it was actually called the Terrace Inn then, I guess.
The Terrace.
Oh, yeah, the Terrace.
The Terrace Inn.
They used to play the Terrace Inn. Okay.
Yeah,
So
I've been there.
We
done
went out
that.
there thinking that maybe we could bump into this band, and so where else would they stay in Newton? So we went out, and we're walking through the hallways, and we were out there about a half hour, and just about ready to give up. And the door at the end of the hallway opens up, and here comes Doug Engel, Lee Dorman, and a couple other guys.
Mike
I didn't know who they were.
Panera, was he playing guitar for him at
I
that
don't
time?
remember.
No, I think he'd left probably by then.
Yeah, this is probably 83,
Yeah, he'd
84.
left.
I thought that's when he was.
And but we're talking to them, and they were just amazed that these high school kids knew who they were. And I remember we asked Doug Engel. I said, "Now, when you guys did Inagata de Vida, you guys were tripping acid, and you were trying to sing In the Garden of Eden. Is that true?" And he's like, "No, but that's the best story we ever heard."
That album was the first album to get a gold award. It wasn't the first album to sell 1 million or whatever it was, but after they had gold awards for records, after selling however
500.
That was the first one.
That was the first one after they designated it that got it. Every college kid in the world owned that album.
Did you ever go to like a jukebox and get ready to leave and go up and play like Alice's Restaurant or Inagata
That
de
one
Vida
or-
about 6 times and walk out?
No, that's a great
Allman
idea, man.
Brothers.
Olivia Newton-John, please, Mr. Please don't play B-17.
Yeah.
And that was usually, I always thought it was, I found a pound of Velveeta.
It could have been. Jeff, are you ready to play some music?
Oh, yeah.
All right, man. We're going to cap the show off here pretty quick. We're going to take a little break again.
What's the phone number, Bob?
1-855-244-0077. You can call in and ask a quick question because we're running out of time here. But we're going to have Jeff play his guitar. He's going to show us a little bit of what he's been doing lately. And God, I'm totally excited. And for the record, Jeff was going to be here a few months ago, and we had tornadoes going on, and you had some obligations to stay home with your family and stuff, which is totally understandable. And that was I'm glad we got all you guys together. And before we go any further, thanks a lot, you guys. I appreciate it.
Yeah,
Thanks for having us,
I'm
man.
just glad they let me out without the ankle bracelet.
I'm just glad he's not calling me Tito anymore.
Go fetch me a towel.
Okay, we're going to take a short break, and we'll be back with Jeff Banks.
From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast One Live.
I'm Brian Leach, owner and general manager of Service Legends. I brought along a couple of the home comfort heroes.
Hi, I'm Tammy Wells.
I am Nick Wondershot.
I'm administrative manager
I am the senior technician
from Service Legends.
It seems like every good thing, when you feel it to the bone that it's good, there's a lot of hard work put behind it. I don't think that you can fake it and have it turn out good.
You know, if we seem like, okay, that's just weird, it's just a furnace, why would you believe so deeply in a furnace? It's not just that, you know, we want to show the world that you can have good service.
Yeah, I mean, it's got to be, it's your home.
You know, it's built into our daily trainings, it's built into our culture, that we're going to do whatever it takes to have each client say they love us, period.
That's why we spend all the hours in the training that we do. And if we guarantee it's going to be a good experience for you, or else it's free, what type of work do you think we're going to do?
There is a guarantee.
Temperature selection guarantee, fixed right or it's free guarantee, comfort guarantee, best value guarantee. All of these guarantees hold us accountable to ensuring that we exceed your expectations. And if for whatever reason we'd fail and we can't make it right, we guarantee all of those guarantees with a 100% money back guarantee.
I mean, if you don't think that your technician can fix it right, are you going to say that to a client? No.
You don't have to worry about having a technician come to your house.
We drug test, background check all of our team members. We put safe people in your home. Each and every one of our service techs, 400 hours a year in training.
You tell it the minute they walk in the door. They know what they're doing, they've done their homework, and they actually truly care about what you want.
Because at the end of the day, you're the person that makes sure I have a job.
They're going to be listening. They're going to want to know what your challenges are. Then they're going to come and give you options, and you get to choose.
If I'm there to help and I make it easy and painless, I did my job right that day.
Well, when it comes to your comfort, safety, and your family, you know, you don't necessarily go buy the most expensive, but you get the most bang for your buck.
Oh, it's worth it, because there's a lot of people that will find a way to get it to work right now and then leave and then come back, charge you again, and the cycle just repeats itself. So when I'm out there looking at the furnace, I want to find why it failed today. How can we change the part today with something that you're not going to have to worry about? Is it worth changing the part today? I mean, you can put a lot of money into a furnace. I can fix parts all day. There's good job security in that for me. But is it the right thing for you?
I get a lot of the phone calls of after the technicians are there. They're just in awe. They're like, wow, you guys are great. I mean, I don't even know what to say. You guys are great. Everything you did is perfect. It's great.
Keep going though. I like this.
Just give us a try. I'm going to take all the risk.
I've got the time to make this right. I've got the support to make it right.
Just check us out.
And if you don't see the value in what we do,
I mean, fixed right or it's free or 100% money back.
Enough said.
Drug and alcohol addiction slowly steals a person's identity, tearing away pieces of their life little by little until one day it seems like the hope of a happy future is gone and there's no chance of getting it back. Here at St. Gregory Retreat Centers, we can assure you that there is hope. Our unique approach to recovery begins with the understanding that the dysfunction and damage caused by addiction can be overcome, not just dealt with. Don't let another day go by. Call St. Gregory today.
Well, good morning. This is the 7th of June in the Lord's year 2010, and this is day 1 of webcast1live.com. We will begin with Max World Live with my special guest, Tom Coates. In just a minute, there's Tom. Wait. Howdy. And we will be live for the very first time on Webcast One Live. Someday we're going to look back on this and say, gosh, remember that old day in history? Wonder where Walter Cronkite was. He must have been around hanging there too. But actually, it's the beginning of Webcast One Live. And thank you for listening. Thanks, Rob Spearman, and everybody who's put together this project together. And we're ready to go live now. So thanks for listening to MaxWorldLive.com.
I can't tell you that it's going real well from time to time, but it is going.
Tom Coates from Consumer Credit of America was your personal webmaster, Tom would filter out all bad debt emails. If Tom was your mailman, you'd never get any debt reduction junk mail. If Tom Coates was a lineman, he'd block any phone calls offering to reduce your credit card debt.
Hi, I'm Tom Coates with Consumer Credit of America, and we're still your best choice for credit counseling. We're local, we're accountable, and we can do more. You make the call when the time's right for you.
When it comes to competition, there really is none for Consumer Credit of America.
The dawn of a new era begins. From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast One Live.
All right, we're back. Bogfoot Diaries Live. We're going to spend just a few more minutes than we normally do. This is going to be the last show we do for a while. We need to kind of restructure some things and kind of figure out which direction we're going to go. And that's all. Jibbity Jew for just saying that we're
Taking a break.
taking a break. Right. So we have Jeff Banks in the studio. He's been here all night, obviously, but he's going to be playing his guitar. And hopefully you are tuning in, because if you are, you're about to be blown away. Jeff is an amazing guitar player, as people around the world will attest to. So, Jeff, thanks a lot, man. Give it.
Right on.
Don't stop the slop.
Awesome.
Nice.
Awesome.
He makes it look so easy.
What was that from? Is that just something you just did spontaneously?
Yeah, just I don't know.
Just messing around?
Yeah, goofing off, definitely.
Wow.
Using like demolished chords and stuff, and like things with like 4 fingers. I've never played that many chords my entire career, let alone.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you've played
my
that
minimum daily requirement of chords. So.
That was fantastic. So when are you playing next, Jeff?
Let's see. I'm playing with Krista Hoagland this Thursday night, the 1st, August 1st, at Lot 33, which is at the corner of 37th and Ingersoll.
Yeah.
And then Saturday night with Jeff Banks' band at the Greenwood, which is 2 doors west.
Excellent. And one more time, where can they pick up the new Dresbury album at?
You might just have to give me a call.
Send me an email.
It's going. Getting the website up now for Bone Crushing Records.
Okay.
So bonecrushingrecords.com. Probably in about 2 weeks,
Okay.
it'll be available through that. Otherwise, I'm not really sure yet. You know, we kind of threw this together. Yeah, ZZZ. You know, probably find it through there. There you go.
Put them in a bin down there.
Yeah.
Well, gosh, you guys, that was a lot of fun tonight. Time went super fast. Dirk William Newton, thank you for coming in. Ned Rude, thank you for coming in.
Pleasure.
Jeff.
My pleasure.
My gosh, blow me away. Shep, as always.
Correct.
I want to thank Maddie for all your hard work. Appreciate you being
Good
a great
work.
producer.
Awesome.
Good job.
Sebekian for all the behind the scenes stuff he does and the poster art and all that good stuff he does. Some people don't get all the credit they should.
That's a
and
fact.
I know I'm really bad at giving credit too, so I want to make sure that I do that. And until next time, it's been really fun, and we'll look for you down the road.
Right on.
Thank you.
Thanks, man.
You're welcome.
From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast One Live.